Hello artists, today we are going to be learning about Zentangles. Welcome to today's class. Number 1, I want you to gather supplies. Something to draw with, like a pencil, pen, marker, or a Sharpie. Something to draw on, that could be paper or any drawing surface. And optional, a ruler or objects to trace with. Number 2, we're going to learn about Zentangles. Number 3, then you will create your own Zentangle. Learning objective. Here are the expectations and outcomes. Objective, review and identify the element of art of space and line. Create your own Zentangle design using drawing tools on paper. Outcome, understanding and planning out your own Zentangle designs will prepare you for your final project of the third 9 weeks. Vocabulary, Zentangle. Zentangle is a method of making structured patterns. It is a meditative art process. It uses simple lines, shapes, and positive/negative space. There is no wrong way to make a Zentangle. Identify and draw these lines on your paper, like zigzag, dashed, spiral, wavy, and curved. Space. This describes how objects are arranged in a work of art using positive and negative space. Here are some Zentangle examples. Pay attention to the different types of patterns. For this assignment, I'm going to ask that you can use the patterns that you see here or start creating your own patterns. What's cool about Zentangle is that you, the artists, are going to be in charge of planning out how you want the patterns to go. Again, it is a meditative process, meaning you could play some music, you could be having like a TV show on, and just start drawing, and your mind is just going to start creating different designs with your help. Artist examples for inspiration. Now, not all the artists that we're going to see do Zentangles. However, these artists use line, shape, repetition, pattern, those elements of art and principles of design that we've learned about. Here is Keith Haring's untitled artwork from 1981. Check out all the different repeating patterns that Keith Haring uses, and also the use of positive space with the white and the negative space with the black lines. Here's another one from Keith Haring from 1983. As you can see, he's using now more colors with dashed lines. Also see some zigzag lines, some what it looks to be like hieroglyphics or letters, or maybe he created his own letters or his own message in here. Here's artwork by Wasily Kandinsky from 1929 called Line. We've learned about this artist before and how he was inspired by music and different composers to create his works of art. Check out his different lines, his movement that we see in here with the wavy line, the emphasis, meaning where our eye is drawn to. Here's a newer artist from named Bisa Butler. This artwork is from 2019, and it's called I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. The reason I chose this artwork is because if you look at the clothing as well as the background in this artwork, this artist is kind of using a form of Zentangle, separating different sections and making different patterns, different lines, different shapes, different images in the sections of the dress, in the face, on the body, also in the hats that these women are wearing, the shoes, and even in the background we have a repetition pattern to kind of like offset the colorful patterns that we have in the foreground. Remember, the foreground is closer to the viewer, and for instance, the foreground would be the women that are looking at us. Here's an 18-year-old artist named Mahi Abdul, who specializes in creating Zentangles. As we see on the left, here's what looks to be a reptile or a dragon, where this artist is separating different sections and creating different patterns, different lines, different shapes in each section. And then we also see on the right some deer with, again, some Zentangles and what looks to be some rose petals or flower petals coming off of the deer, as well as some butterflies. Here's another one from Mahi Abdul, what looks to be a phoenix, and we see more Zentangles, more patterns of color, of lines, of shape, use of positive space and negative space. How do I Zentangle? Now it's your turn. First, of course, grab all your supplies that you were asked to get. You're going to draw a shape, divide the shape into various sections, and then fill the shape in with intricate patterns and lines. Here is your materials again that you need. A drawing tool, could be a pen, marker, or a pencil, paper, a ruler if you have one. First, you want to use your drawing tool to draw lines. You can use objects or a ruler to trace shapes on your paper. So for example, this is what I did for mine. I would call this a template because this is my starting point, and I could use this template for other artworks, or I could just make a new one every time. Add patterns to your lines. Now it's your turn to add various shapes, lines, and patterns in each section. Remember the things that we learned about in today's lesson. Use those. You can also go back to the artworks from the artists that we viewed today to get some ideas. But remember, we don't want to copy exactly what we see on the screen. We want to use our brain to help us discover some new patterns. Meditative while drawing. Take your time. Look for patterns around you. Create your own patterns. You just have to try. Okay, artists, I look forward to seeing what you create. We will continue to do these for the remainder of this week. And then next week, we will move on to our final project.